Welcome to ACC Student News.
The news students can use. I'm Kaden.
And I'm Sasha. Here are this week's stories. The U.S. Department of Education is laying off half of their staff in an effort to eventually phase out the department. On Wednesday, around 1,300 employees were sent employment termination notices. Prior to Wednesday, another 600 employees either retired or accepted buyout deals. Employees who are affected will be placed on administrative leave later next week. Linda McMahon, the current Secretary of Education, states that this is the first step toward shutting down the Department of Education. However, lawmakers from several states stated that they are unprepared to take over the duties of the department.
The Indianapolis, there were police investigation after two family members boarded a middle school bus and started hitting an 8th grader. While students were being picked up from school, two family members, an adult female and a juvenile female, boarded the bus and they both started fighting an 8th grader. Police and district personnel were immediately contacted. The district put out an email saying the safety and security of our students remains our top priority, and incidents what occurred today will not be tolerated. The adult female and juvenile female got arrested and charged for simple assault, disturbance, and trespassing.
Indiana's top official is seeking to alter the features of a federal database to enable states to use it to verify citizenship status of some voters. Republican Secretary of State Diego Morales joined to a petition letter signed by other secretaries of state urging the U.S. Department of Homeland Security to change its systematic alien verification for entitlements database, or SAVE. The changes requested by Morales would allow multiple inquirers using different types of identifiers. However, SAVE cannot be used to verify the citizenship status of U.S.-born citizens. Indiana has required a state-issued ID or a social security number when registering to vote since July. Under Indiana law, non-citizens are prohibited from voting in Indiana elections and holds a level 6 felony punishable by up to 2.5 years in jail with a $10,000 fine.
Indiana state lawmakers are trying again to keep Hoosiers fair enough from law enforcement officers engaged in their official duties so that they cannot be seen or heard. State Senator Scott Baldwin debated that his goal is to protect police officers from having cameras shoved in their faces during an arrest or traffic stop. On the other side, Senator Rodney Pohl from Chesterton said that an officer cannot order someone away who was already within the 25 feet unless there were safety concerns. Another senator questioned whether an officer can easily measure a 25-foot distance when arresting someone else and what would happen when the approaching person insists they are 20 feet away. The Republican-controlled Senate voted 39 to 10 to give final approval for House Enrolled Act 1122.
After missing for 6 days, Indiana woman Breonna Castle was found alive, trapped in her car in a ditch near Wheatfield, Indiana. The ditch was out of sight for oncoming traffic, making no one able to see her car or hear her calls for help. This all happened when Breonna fell asleep at the wheel, causing her to drift off the road. Breonna was left stranded, half of her car submerged in a creek, both of her legs broken, and her phone out of power. After having no food or water, Castle would toss her hoodie as if she was fishing to wetten it with creek water and wring out the water into her mouth. It was a miracle when a nearby worker found her car, at first thinking no one was inside till he approached it. She was still alert and very conscious. The 41-year-old Breonna is a mother of 3, and her family was worried sick for her as the search went on, one even stating she was losing hope. Breonna is now stated to have a safe recovery, and her family is so thankful.
And that's all the news we have for this half.
Stay tuned for more news from ACC TV Hammond.
Hey, what was that back there?
We shouldn't have lost the game.
Just because we lost the game doesn't mean you should take your anger out on the other team. We lost, and that's okay, because we're not going to win every game. I don't want to see you slapping another team's hand like that after a loss, because that just shows bad sportsmanship. We need to respect them because they just beat us fair and square. Do you understand that?
Yes, Coach, I understand it now.
Okay, let's go clean up the dugout now.
Welcome back to ACC Student News. I'm Asia.
And I'm Aiden. Here are some more stories.
Donald Trump has halted a plan to double U.S. tariffs on Canadian steel and metal imports to 50%, just hours after first threatening them. The move by the president comes after the Canadian province of Ontario suspended new charges of 25% on electricity that it sends to some northern states in the U.S., hours after Trump threatened to sharply increase his tariffs on the country. Trump has hit goods from the country along with Mexico with a blanket 25% tariff. Canada is also facing 25% tariffs on its steel and aluminum, which are set to go into effect next Wednesday after Trump said he was ending exemptions to the duties previously granted to some countries. The White House declared the situation a success and said Trump has delivered another win for America.
Southwest Airlines is making a major change to its popular checked baggage policy. Starting this summer, passengers will be required to pay a fee of $25 for the first checked bag and $40 for the second. For years, Southwest has been one of the few major airlines to stand out by offering 2 free checked bags per passenger, a policy that made it a popular choice for travelers looking to avoid the extra charges common with other airlines. But with rising operational costs, including higher fuel prices and staffing expenses, Southwest says it needs to adjust its pricing structure to remain competitive and sustainable. The airline says that this change is part of a broader effort to enhance its services while managing financial pressures. Southwest noted that the airline's ongoing commitment to customer service will remain unchanged, with no additional fees for flight changes or cancellations, and the continuation of free snacks and drinks on board.
A significant measles outbreak is currently spreading across multiple states in the U.S., with health officials urging the public to get vaccinated. More than 500 confirmed cases have been reported across the 12 states, primarily affecting children and individuals who are unvaccinated or have incomplete immunization records. The CDC is closely monitoring the situation and says the outbreak is linked to a combination of declining vaccination rates in certain communities and increased international travel experts that warn measles is highly contagious and can lead to serious complications, including pneumonia, encephalitis, and even death. Symptoms of measles include a high fever, cough, runny nose, and a distinctive red, blotchy rash. The CDC reminds everyone that measles can be prevented through vaccination. Health officials emphasize that early detection and vaccination are key to stopping the spread of this dangerous disease.
A U.S. influencer is sparking an outrage over picking up a baby wombat in Australia. The woman, identified as an American outdoors influencer, Sam Jones, was seen in a video picking up a hissing wombat before declaring to the camera that she caught a baby wombat. Australia's top diplomat urged the visiting American influencer to leave the baby wombat alone after the video showed up on Instagram. According to Australian Wombat Protection Society, the influencer mishandled the baby in an apparent snatch for social media likes. Then, she placed the baby back onto a country road and put it at risk for becoming roadkill. They also noted that there was no evidence that the baby wombat was reunited with its mother. A Change.org petition is pressing Australian officials to deport the influencer and ban her from ever returning.
A Consumer Reports investigation found that most AI voice cloning tools can easily impersonate others. These programs can copy a voice with just seconds of audio. A past robocall scam mimicked Joe Biden, which led to $6 million fine and a federal ban on AI-generated robocalls. While some services require user consent, most protections aren't easy to bypass. Experts warn the technology could be used for fraud, scams, and misinformation, despite its benefits for accessibility and translation.
China retaliates after President Trump hits China with raised tariffs. China's tariffs will impose increased levies on U.S. farmer goods such as wheat, chicken, and corn. China is the largest market for these goods, and if foreign imports are increased, locals will find other cheaper alternatives for these goods. American farmers feeling that they are taking the brunt of this and losing the trade wars. China's tariffs went into effect Monday and is causing trouble for U.S. farmers.
That's all the news we have for this week.
Make sure to check out the rest of our videos on YouTube at ACC TV Hammond and give us a follow on Instagram.